We're back with another Raju's Rants. I am Rohit Raju, and we are talking about the second half of Secret Level, Amazon's Secret Level, and that would be episodes 9 through 15. And I'm going to be honest, these episodes did not hit with me. Now, I'm just going to be talking about the episodes themselves. I'm not going to be talking about the games because I am very unfamiliar with the majority of these games. I know of Concord, but the only reason I know of that one was because of the controversy surrounding it, and then I know of Mega Man because obviously it's Mega Man. But these episodes, I tried to watch them twice. They cannot keep my attention, the majority of them. We'll go down the line of each episode, and I'm kind of just going to give a vague description and thought of, my thoughts, but this one probably won't be longer than the last one. I just couldn't get into these episodes and was kind of bummed and disappointed that this is how the show, or at least this season, wrapped up. I know season 2 got greenlit, but man, these episodes were so disappointing to me. The first one was about Outer Worlds, and that one was about this dude Amos, and he was like, I guess they're cleaning up this. It's like I honestly I can't tell what type of, if it's a post-apocalyptic or whatever, but he's a working class man, and he ends up volunteering to become a human test subject because he's trying to reconnect with the woman that he was head over heels for years earlier. She has dreams and aspirations, and she ends up leaving the planet. She wants to become like the next figurehead, who is like called Auntie Cleo, which is like this brand's logo or whatever. She wants to become the next Auntie Cleo, and so she has like this drive, and she likes Amos, but she obviously doesn't like him like that. And I guess this would be the ultimate version of what a simp is. And he goes through all these tests. Like, he goes through this acid test, and he gets his arm burnt off. One where he has to be underwater, and he ends up losing like his arms and his legs at the end, and having like this thing that he needs. So he almost becomes like this robot. And he finally meets up with her, and she's like, oh, it's really good to see you, and this, that, and the other, but, I really have bigger dreams. I don't want to be a nobody like you and me. I want to be bigger than that. And he's just like, oh, and just kind of downplays them, and she's kind of doing things that are hurting, I guess, the world or their environment or something, and he's going to tell on her. But instead of telling on her, when he finally gets a chance to see, like years past, and he finally gets a chance to meet up with her, and she's like this new Auntie Cleo, and she's like in the whole get up and stuff like that. She's like, oh, I've so sad that I did this and I did that, and I really need this though, and I want to continue. And instead of, like, I guess, doing the right thing, he's like, oh, okay, and just lets her continue to do her stuff. And I'm just like, what was the lesson there? Like, don't be an idiot. Like, I honestly don't know what the lesson there was. It wasn't a bad episode. The animation I thought it was pretty good. It was definitely interesting, and it kept my interest. But the way it ended, I was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't care. I thought it was kind of a letdown. Like, that, I thought they could have went either really dark with it, or like, hey, he learned his lesson and he finally stood up for himself and he got a backbone. But that wasn't it. Like, she gave him the old soft story and the butterfly eyes, and he fell right for the same stuff, hook, line, and sinker. I was like, oh, I love her, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. That was what I took from it. Maybe I missed the message completely, which, I probably did. But that episode was fine. It was okay. That was episode 9. Episode 10, you would think I would absolutely love it. It was Mega Man. I grew up playing Mega Man. Huge fan of Mega Man, the games, the music especially, and just the whole mysticism and lore of Mega Man itself. So it was cool to see Dr. Light and Rock before he becomes, Mega Man, and they're going through the whole thing about how the robots, Dr. Wily is taking over the robots and stuff like that. I loved this episode, and I also hated it because it was so short. I think it was the shortest out of all the episodes in the second half. It had to have been like 5 minutes. I think it was like 9, but you have the intro, which is probably like 30 seconds to a minute, and then the ending, which the credits are at least 3 minutes. So I think the episode was probably like 5 or 6 minutes, if that. I don't know. It was really cool, and I really enjoyed it, especially when the Mega Man music kicked in. But man, there could have been a lot more with this and a lot less with everything else. So this was a letdown, not because of the episode itself. The episode itself I thought was fantastic. It was fun. It had a really good Mega Man vibe, but it was so short and I wanted to see a lot more, and I felt like this deserved more time than everything else. And it was disappointing. Episode 11 was Exodus. This one was kind of cool, kind of trippy. This guy was, I think he's working like in a scrapyard, if I recall, and his daughter kind of, she's a dreamer. She wants to go on adventure and stuff like that. And she ends up sneaking away. And this was, I know this was, Exodus is being developed by some of the minds behind Mass Effect and, BioWare, which I love the original Mass Effect. I know Andromeda I didn't end up playing because I heard it was really bad, so I didn't mess with it. But there's like Celestials in it who are like, I guess, the villains of Exodus, and the daughter ends up wanting to be a traveler, and so she ends up sneaking away and traveling, and then the dad does anything he can to kind of find her. And they really do this really cool thing to where they go, because when you're traveling in the galaxy, like it's time, right? So time goes different everywhere else. So by the time he meets up with her, she's just as old as he is. And I thought that was really cool. And they share like some really special moments at the end as she ends up passing away. And but it was cool. It was a really cool take on space travel and stuff like that. I mean, the game could be cool. I don't think the game's out just yet, or I don't even know if it has a date. I'd have to, like I said, I don't know too much about these games. I'd have to look more into it. But it looked cool. I like everything they did there. The Celestials had me kind of intrigued on what that was about. The whole traveler thing was cool. You had the orb, which that was like this celestial artifact, and it was one of many relics left behind by a long dead empire. So I thought that was kind of cool. Stuff like that is very interesting, and of course it has ruins and it's a hidden power and stuff like that. So I thought that was cool, man. I thought it was really nice, and the way it wrapped up was kind of cool. But it was a good episode. I definitely, it didn't, wow me or knock it out of the park for me, but it was something that I would definitely watch again, and it brought up interest in the game for me. And some of these things that feel like the game isn't out yet, they almost feel like it's an advertisement, which I guess I understand that. And we'll get to that in the last minute. I thought this did it better with, yes, advertising the game and getting you interested, but also telling a really good story. Unlike the last one by Sony, which was called Playtime, which was god awful. Oh my god, that was terrible. But it was pretty good, and that was Exodus. The next one was Spelunky. Not even going to lie to you, this could not keep my attention. I knew this had to do with like spawning. Like the one girl was like, "Oh yeah, I've died like 38 times already," and then I think it was like either her mother or her sister or her, like a very well-known spelunker. And she's had like, I've had this many failed runs and this, that, and the other. I couldn't get into it. Honestly, I honestly couldn't get into it. I was trying to watch it, and each time I would try to get into it, I ended up being on my phone doing something else. So it's just really boring. And then by the time I did end up finishing it, I was just like, I just want to get this over with. It just wasn't for me. Maybe other people enjoyed it, but this episode, it could not keep my attention. It could not keep my interest. And it was like, I don't know. I couldn't do it. And the same thing with the next one, which was Concord. I couldn't get into that. I knew they were really trying to tell this very fun, almost like bounty guild type adventure thing. Like you had the Galactic Guide, and this belonged to the guild at one point. You had like, it seemed like these ragtag team of free gunners, kind of doing mercenary work. And it seemed like it was, they tried to make it real fun and stuff. But again, I just didn't care about any of the characters. I didn't care about what was going on. And I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. I was trying to get into these, and for whatever reason, I couldn't. I couldn't, man. I just thought they were just kind of boring, and I don't know. I don't know if it was just the characters, the story itself, or maybe because I'm unfamiliar with the game. But not all of them were like that. Like I'm not familiar with a lot of these games, and a lot of them I got into. But yeah, this one just didn't do it for me. But that goes on to the next one, Honor of Kings, which I think is like supposed to be a MOBA game, like a mobile game. I liked it, and I think it was more like it felt like they were playing Go, I think. But this was really cool to me. It was kind of about easing. He was a younger man who had come up against hardships. Like there was these demons. This earthquake happened, and these demons got released into the world, and his parents ended up, trying to fight him, and they ended up getting killed. And he ends up, in order to, I guess, save the city, the mechanical city of Chang'an, he had to play this. What was he? I guess like a guardian or master Mozai at the top of the Macarium, and it was cool. It was really nice what they had to do. Like the guy was like, well, I know all your this, we've done this before. I know your decisions. I know what you're gonna make. And the kid ended up figuring out some stuff, and he ended up tricking the guy, or I should say the being or whatever it was, because it was a mechanical being, to my knowledge. And it was cool. That it was just a very interesting take on that, and I liked it. I thought it was very fun. It was very interesting. I would probably never play the game, but I still liked it. I thought it was very fun. The art style was great. The art style in this whole show was amazing. I can't complain about the art at all. I saw some people complaining about the art, but I just thought what they were saying was very nitpicky. I thought each art style fit, every episode. I just thought it was good. I didn't mind the art at all. You could tell they put a good bunch of money into this, so it was cool. Hopefully they learned their mistakes from this. I don't know how the first half of the episodes were so good. Maybe they did that on purpose to hook you in, and this half was just very subpar. And I couldn't get into it as much as I wanted to. But this one was pretty good. Honor of Kings, I liked it. But the last one, my God, this was horrific. Jesus Christ, this was terrible. All this was a giant Sony Cameo Fest ad. I didn't care about any character in this. You had the Helldivers showing up. There's Shadow Colossus. Kratos shows up at one point. Characters from Journey. They said Ghost of Tsushima, but I didn't see that. I didn't really catch that. And then of course, like Sackboy from Little Big Planet just kind of shows up, but they're showing up. They're not doing anything. And this courier ends up getting the secret package, and she has to deliver it in time. And all these people are showing up from these games, trying to be an obstacle in her way. And it was just man, I couldn't get into it. But yeah, it was really bad. Apparently Jin Sakai is in it real quick, but it's like such a blink and you'll miss it cameo that I don't know, it's really like he's in the background somewhere. But they had Kratos just show up out of nowhere, do one thing, and just go, like, it was just bad. I thought this was a horrible way to end this series. Piss poor showing by Sony. Like, what, you have all these great characters that you can tell a short story with, and this is what you choose to do. It just felt like a very bad Sony PlayStation ad. I thought it was horrible. Gratuitous cameo fest that didn't do anything, and I don't know who put together the order of these at Amazon, but man, it was bad. And I don't know if the developers pay, like, oh yeah, play ours last. But woof, this half, like, the first half I liked a lot. If you watch my my rant on the first half, good. But this one, not good at all. I thought it was, there's like 2 or 3 episodes that I liked, but I just liked them. I didn't think they were great at all. Very, very poor showing to end the first season of Amazon's Secret Level. Like I said, I heard a second season was greenlit, so hopefully they learn their lessons and they don't do this nonsense again. I am looking forward to a season 2 just to see if they did learn their lessons and to see what characters that they may have in this. It's video games, so it's endless, right? But man, no, I don't know. This second half, not for me. What did you guys think? Sound off in the comments. But yeah, I didn't care at all. But yeah, this is Rohit Raju for another Raju's Rants. And we'll see what we'll be talking about next time. I think I got some more Star Wars stuff I want to talk about. I know people, I get sick of hearing about Star Wars, but I mean, it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving, and I don't mean a good way. Although Skeleton Crew's been really good, but apparently it has not been getting the views. And I have two words for you: brand damage. And that's because current Lucasfilm has really run Star Wars into the ground. And I've been saying this since the sequels, but of course you have your weird diehards that are like, oh, it's at the best it's ever been. It's like, no, it's not, you morons. Like, get real. But that we'll save that for another rant. But yeah, let me know what you thought of Amazon's Secret Level, the second half of the season. For me, big thumbs down. But yeah, sound off in the comments. Thanks.